what they would do, well, not all of them, like some of them just slept like fucking all the way through. But what we often got was one of them would crawl in bed with us.
Yeah, no, there's an absolute
Right.
not.
But we wouldn't even be aware of it. We'd be so fast asleep and we'd wake up and go, oh.
Because you guys would be wasted, eh?
I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've been good about that right from the start. No kid in the bed.
There's
been a couple of times when she's been sick, but outside of that during the night, because like it takes one time, and you have created a habit that you then have to break for the next 3 months.
Right.
Once they find something they like,
yeah,
that's what they're doing,
and then,
that is it. But you can't create a good habit. You can only create a bad habit. It's unbelievable.
So, because I remember when I was little, and it would be like lightning and thunder or something, and I'd be scared.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Then I'd go and sleep in mum and dad's bed. I remember still doing that.
Right.
But I don't know how old I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still do. I jump in my car, drive down to Tauranga and jump in bed with Mon and Don.
Yeah.
But I think I might have been like 6 or something, or 5. Or I don't know if I was 3 or,
Yeah.
So is that too young?
Well, we haven't had any story. Like, if she's scared, obviously we would let her in. But it's one of those things where, I don't know, man. There's no right answers as far as I can tell.
Have you thought about the strap?
Oh, the cane.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, isn't she 3?
Yeah, totally. She's definitely ready.
She's old enough. I was talking to somebody else actually who's on his second wife. He did the 3 kids in his 20s, and now he's on his second wife. He's got 2 kids now, and he's bringing back the jandal.
My dad was big on the belt.
Well, the jandal, I think he reckons is good because it makes more of a noise than it does hurt.
Yes.
But he said he did it on his 4-year-old, and she turned around and tried to batter him. He's just like, it's not going to work.
So he's gone to the jandal because he's been through this with the kids once.
Well, because which was when the jandal was fine. You're okay doing the jandal, that was fine. But he said that was 20 years ago, so you can't do that now. But that they've tried everything with the 4-year-old, and she's a lunatic, he said. And it's not acceptable. But he tried it once and then felt immediately horrific, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Actually made it worse.
I have never smacked my kids.
No,
ever.
Neither.
There's been a few
you get close.
hearty words spoken, but never smacking. Whereas my dad would be, right!
Yeah, straight into it.
And he would literally take his belt off and, da-douche!
What was that?
I found it quite good, though. I didn't. I guess it depends on your age, but when you're getting the cane at high school...
You found it good?
I did. Because you knew what you were going to get.
Totally.
Like you knew, it was very clear. It's going to hurt like a motherfucker. You're going to have welts.
Yes.
And I'm talking like 10 to 15 mils off your ass.
Yes.
Wow. Did you measure them?
As wide as, you're right across your ass or lower back, depending on how good the aim was, or your thighs. And that you'd have anywhere between 2 and 6 of them. So if you're going to piss around, man, you just knew. And so there's no complaining about it.
Because my dad used to...
I thought it was really good. Just clear...
Yeah. The horrific thing from and that's right, because I got caned so many times, but the horrific thing for us is when it would be me and Brendan and my mate Martin.
Right.
We'd all be called up together, and you knew what you were going to get. You'd get the cane. But because we'd be getting a lecture and we'd just lose the plot. We'd just start laughing because we couldn't help it. It's that anxiety.
It's gallows
yeah,
humor.
sort of.
Yeah, totally.
And I'd hear B go... And that would be it. We'd be fucked.
Yeah.
And so you go from 1 cane to 3 canes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
So my dad used to say stuff about trying to like stick something down your pants so it wouldn't hurt as much and all this sort of stuff. But they always knew.
If you got caught with a comic book, you're buggered. I remember talking and study.
Right.
Got 4 for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and mate. Study was at 5 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Cold as fuck. All they had, St. Pat Silverstream.
Right.
Old buildings, all they had were these radiators.
Yes.
On the wall, which emanated heat about 3 millimeters away from them.
Up against
Yeah. If you touched it, it would burn you to the bone, but would not emanate any heat or radiate any heat whatsoever, despite the name. And because it was so cold, I was wearing 3 pairs of flannel underpants plus flannel pajamas plus a pair of long pants.
Right.
So I went and got the cane off Brother Bede, his name was, and he would absolutely give it to you. He smoked about 40 a day, and I was freaking out. It's like, this is the guy you don't want to get it from.
Oh, we had that.
I got 4 and I didn't feel a thing because I was wearing so many pieces.
Yeah.
But just on that front, though, the worst, and you brought it up, because my school was like that as well, freezing as fuck. And when you're in your jammies, and there'd be those thin summer jammies where you just, and we had one teacher who I won't name, who was fucking brutal and made a habit of not caning you on your ass but on your upper thighs.
Oh man, that's
and we were the same. I mean, we're talking fucking blood welts, big bastards
for talking.
Yeah,
and in my case, I swear to God, I got caned 49 times, and 48 of those were for talking when I shouldn't be talking.
Same. I went up the very first night because it was boarding school. The very first night I went up for talking. I went up for the cane.
That's
the very
so crazy.
first night.
Did you have intercoms in your dorms?
Did I have who?
Intercoms.
No.
It's pronounced intercourse.
We used to have intercoms in our
It's pronounced intercourse.
intercourse in our dorms, right? And this is fucking true. My mates used to go, Hoity, or not, Jace, tell us that story about blah 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 blah. And there was no talking after lights out, and I couldn't help myself. I literally couldn't help myself. And so I'd start telling a story
on the intercom.
No, in the dorm, in the dorm after lights out. Fucking nearly every night it would be, Hoyt, to the duty room, please. Seriously.
Great.
I remember that so well. Hoyt, to the duty room.
A massive booming Hoity J at 13 years old. 10 years old.
Seriously, and you're right, because I knew what I was getting. Yeah. And it was, you'd be head bowed. You'd fucking slink up to the duty room. Doo-douche! Doo-douche! Oh, fuck,
and then the other thing as well was you had to fight the urge, because obviously it's coming. So it's bend over, touch your toes, or lean on a desk. But I had a mate from Levin as well, and he knew it was coming. He couldn't handle it, and he put his hands back there as it was coming down.
Oh, yeah, not good.
No good.
No
good.
On the knuckles.
There were some teachers that would have you putting your head under the desk.
Yeah.
So that...
What school did you go to?
So that when you got caned, because your natural reaction is to go, oh, fuck, and stand up. Right? I mean, you don't go, oh, fuck, because then you get another doo-douche. But, you know what I mean? So you couldn't do that if your head was under a desk, because you just go doo-douche.
So you said 48 times you were caned for talking. What was the 49th time? Were you ever naughty? You guys just chat?
Just yarning. I don't think I ever did.
No, I was... Yeah. I can't remember what the other one was for.
Actually, yeah.
But like, I was actually treated okay in the sense that they knew I was a smoker, for example. But they went, fuck it.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, they just...
He's 10 years old. He's man enough.
Whereas other kids, but we're talking 5th, 6th form, they did them. And they were like... I remember talking to a teacher after I left school, and he went, fuck, Jace, we knew you smoked.
Of course, you're reeked,
what I mean?
man.
Yeah, well, seriously. We'd be in the middle of maths class with Mrs. Foley, and we'd go, we'd just pop out for a second and come back and have a durry and me and this other dude, and we must have fucking reeked of durries. And they'd just be like, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to pop out with your durry behind your ear.
yeah. With your ciggies rolled up in your sleeve there.
So cool.
The only thing that we did that was naughty, and it wasn't really, was if it was your birthday, people used to... It wasn't good to be your birthday.
Right.
So, like, you'd have practical jokes, like your shoes would be filled up with toothpaste.
There's a lot of toothpaste.
Yeah. Well, just enough in the toe, so you put your boots on, your shoes on, and then, but all sorts of different stuff. But one of our mates pretended he was sick on his birthday, and it was at the end of the year, so he'd been a prick to everybody else, and then he was in the infirmary on his birthday, so you couldn't get him. So about 10 of us went in there and dragged him out. And we got busted, and they said, don't come back or you get the case. So we went back again, got busted again, and just got... So on his birthday, when he should have been getting smashed,
you're all getting caned.
We got caned.
The Hodaki Big Show with Jason Hoyt, Mike Minogue, and Keezy. The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
I'll tell you, just on that front, because my stepbrother went to the school I went to too. I think I might have told you fellas this story. So I was the equivalent of standard 3 when I started, right? So about 8. And on the first day of school, I'm standing in the cloister there, and I hear, Hoyt!
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
And I was like, what's that? And it was my stepbrother and about 4 or 5 other seniors just sprinting towards me. And I was like, ah! And I just started sprinting on the fields and they got me. Took my sandals and stuff off, chucked them all on the roof.
I love chucking shit on the roof.
You know, and it was like, oh, Hoyt! And then they all buggered off again.
Fuck, that's
It's a ball ache. The whole thing's just a massive ball ache. So I don't know how many people actually suffered long-term damage from it.
In my school, shitloads.
Did you
From what? From the cane?
No, from
Oh,
the
I don't-
bullying.
From
don't
bullying,
know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit,
Did you?
yeah.
We had waves of things coming into fashion in terms of ways you could piss people off.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever have bagging?
Teabagging.
No.
That was later.
That was later, and that wasn't a punishment. That was good. Bagging is when someone's being real annoying, and so when they go to the toilet or something, you get their school bag, take everything out, turn it inside out, put everything back in, and then do it back up again. So their bag's just inside out, and that's it.
Right.
And so it's not really a massive, like, Pugs is losing.
Is
But it's
that
just like,
it?
no, I know, right? But this guy from another school came, and he was in our English class, and I was a bit of a dropkick, and this is year 12, I think. I'd given up on school. But I was sitting there with my mate, and we were both kind of naughty, well, chatty, like you guys. This new guy came and decided to bag my mate on the first day just to kind of, win everyone over sort of thing.
Yeah.
And my mate was just like, what the fuck? And so he got the guy's bag, turned it inside out, got his pencil case, turned that inside out, got a bottle of orange juice, tipped it in his bag, and then grabbed his bag and threw it up a 2-story building onto the roof. He's like in prison or something now, this guy. But I was just like, oh, wow, that's a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah.
Hey, funny though.
I just remembered what my other caning was for. Our music teacher.
What's his name?
I'm not going to say any names.
Why?
Anyway,
If they haven't done anything wrong, you can name them.
He was going to cane one of the guys in my class, right? And I piped up and I said, "Sir, I don't reckon it's fair that he's getting caned for that."
That's the dumbest
The
shit I've ever
martyr.
heard.
Spartacus.
Seriously,
You
I
Spartacus.
was like, I think that's really, he doesn't deserve to be caned for that. And he went, okay, and Hoyt, if you're so concerned about it, maybe you should be caned instead of him. Would you be prepared to be caned instead of him if you think it's so unfair? And I went, yes, I would. Fucking true story.
Did the guy ever say thank you? The guy you stood up for?
Toby, yeah, I think he did
I had a
actually.
Toby.
Toby,
as well.
yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. He was a good bastard, old Toby. But yeah, and then he was like, all right then, douche.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, oh, fuck, that's not what I was planning on, but okay.
Did you feel good though? Did people watch it and go, good on you, Hoyt? That was
Oh,
awesome.
they went, backbone.
Yeah, that's
That's where backbone came from.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far out.
Holy
Massively.
hell.
Far. Should I play the podcast, Edmund?
Fan of the Hodaki Big Show podcast? Make sure you check out more from Jace, Mike and Keezy on their Instagram and TikTok at Hodaki Big Show. Or tune into them 4 to 7 every weekday on Radio Hodaki.
Bow.
Thanks, mate.
I didn't actually realise we were recording then, and I'm just now filtering back through everything I've said going,
You're sweet, mate.
oh,
No, you're good.
jeez.
You're all good, mate.
You're
Um,
good, mate.
Yeah.
You didn't name
The
any
old
names.
caning. No. Apart from my dad, but that was old school back then. The old belt.
Oh, Mrs. Foley.
Yeah, but Mrs. Foley was lovely. She
She's
wasn't
lovely.
one.
Yeah.
She was a good bastard.
She was a real
She was
good
a
bastard.
backbone.
Did you
She
guys
was a bastard.
Was
a backbone.
a back bastard?
She was a bastard.
No, Mrs. Foley actually was really lovely.
Was she a back bastard
for a
or a good
bastard.
bone?
She used to teach at Dio School for Girls and come over to do our maths for us and would allow us to write her poetry until it got out of hand.
Oh, that's when you tried. That was the one you were trying to root. You wrote her.
No.
That you did you or did you not write her admiring poetry that she asked you to put a stop to? Silence says it all. All right,
Yes,
let's
no,
go.
but wait. The poem that tipped it over the edge was not mine.
Right.
Mine was respectful. The person that wrote the other poem went over the edge.
Well, there was
And
a
she
little
went,
Hoyt
I
from
think-
Nantucket.
I
Little
think,
half a mongrel.
I think that she went after he read it. I think that's probably because she let us read them at the end of class,
Ah, yeah.
which is why I did so bad at maths.
That's
'cause
quite
I was
funny,
too
though.
busy writing poetry.
That's very funny that she let you guys do that.
Yes,
I reckon it's
she
great.
was cool, man. She was cool. In fact, she got in touch with me the other day, not long ago.
The other day.
Yeah,
couple of
literally
years ago.
a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
What did she
Randomly
want?
out of-
She want Keezy's number.
She was saying something along the lines of, I always knew you'd be doing something funny or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice. Did you answer her? Or did you block her?
The block did.
Shut up, Mrs. Foley, you old bastard. Your Horaki Big Show Keezy word of the day is caned.
Yeah. Nice.
Cane.
Do you actually ever get caned, Keezy?
Not at school.
You'd benefit from a good
Yeah,
beating.
I reckon you would,
Oh,
man.
I used to get the wooden spoon. Did you guys? Was wooden spoon a thing with you guys?
Wooden spoon. I wish I got the wooden spoon.
That's
So that wooden spoon must be pretty 90s then, because me and Pugs got it.
It's very soft, Cole.
Nah, well, yeah, I think Mum tried to give me the jug cord once, but she said I looked so pathetic she couldn't go through with it. But Mum was never one for the real.
To be fair,
beatings,
it was more threatened with the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever getting a good whack
I do
with
remember mowing the lawns when I might have been a teenager around about that point. And she said, she was in a foul mood. I can't remember what it was. I had the lawnmower going. I was trying to...
Was this Marge Minogue?
Marge Minogue. I was trying to get something.
Because she's
I
7'8".
probably wanted to go out or do something. I don't know what it was. Anyway, she was fuming. I remember that. And I was mowing the lawns and I was talking to her and she walked off. And I asked the question again louder, and she just kept on walking. And under my breath, I went something along the lines of "fucking bitch,"
Deaf.
which of course she heard.
Yeah.
Didn't hear the other thing I said, or certainly pretended. This is with the lawnmower going. And then she comes over to me, and she goes to give me a slap across the face, which she had never done my entire life. And I caught it with my hand, and she had a cigarette in her other hand. So she put the cigarette in her mouth, held it with her mouth, and then went to smash me with the other hand. And I caught that, and then I said, "Don't hit me, Mum." And she just burst out laughing, and then we had a good laugh, and that was that.
Ah, old Mogi, eh?
Bit of bonding over the old
Like
domestic abuse.
my mum never laid a hand on me, but I always knew when she was really fucking furious with me, because she'd go, "You listen to me, sunshine."
Oh, sunshine.
When she said sunshine, I was in a world of trouble.
Two things Mum would do. She'd call me Michael.
Yes.
And the other thing she'd do is she would say something and then she'd end it by sucking her teeth. Look, I wouldn't do that if I was you. So me and my brother would always go.
That's like bloody... Who's the guy in
Did she
Silence
give her
of the
the
Lambs?
old... Did she? Oh, yeah.
Cannibal Lecter.
Hannibal,
beans.
yeah, farmer beans, yeah. Hey,
Good chat.
message all the Keezy words into the Hodaki Big Show on
Oh,
Instagram.
no, and listen, seriously, because I was thinking about this driving in today. If you've got any questions you need to ask us or advice you need, make sure you fire those through. Also,
Actually, if you've got any caning stories.
caning stories, that'd be
Jokes.
great. And, jokes. Yes, 'cause
jokes.
they've dropped off a fair amount, haven't they? So if you've got any jokes you want us to say, go for it.
Hodaki Big
It's been a
Show.
long while. Oh, actually, on that note,
Oh, actually,
as well, because I think people might be over the jokes. We weren't
haven't done one for a while.
weren't as receptive as we might have been, Hoity J, to be fair.
True.
Riddles. Flick us through some of your best riddles.
like what starts with T, ends with T, and is full of T.
A teapot.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that sort of boring shit.